Well, hello there again. Once again to you and you and you and you. That's all y'all. In case you wondered. Everybody's welcome here. Come on in. YouTubers and tuberettes and all the others. It's a Thursday afternoon and here in Las Cruces, which is right now we're the 14th, I believe it is, of March. So yeah, almost mid-month. That's hard to believe. And so, although it isn't actually spring yet, it's. I mean, I'm out here with just a t-shirt and short sleeves, and I'm fine. And thought I'd do a video outdoors today, a short talk on the trailer park porch step. Let's get a little carried away with the park thing. Anyway, a short talk on the front porch here. I didn't really have anything I wanted to get, all invited and excited and wowed by, but I just wanted to kind of go over some of the things that have been kind of catching my mind. Now, here's something that did catch my mind, or catch my eye, I mean, and I honestly don't know what to make of this. Maybe you do. Maybe you can put something in the comments, because I just now heard, I guess maybe it's today or yesterday, maybe it's yesterday, that the neocons in Congress and the Democrats, now there's award-winning crew right there, whatever they're all about. Boy, I'm all ears. So these freaks have somehow concluded that the business enterprise called TikTok. Now, I really don't know about TikTok, okay? I'm old. You'll have to ask someone under 40 or under 30. But I know that a lot of young people that I am around and know and associate with a little bit. A lot of them are on TikTok. Go into a restaurant sometime, a fast food place. If there's teenagers sitting in there, what are they doing? They're probably looking at TikTok. But 180 million American subscribers. That's just the U.S. of A. 180 million, and so that's more than half of the population of the United States is on this thing. So since it's so popular, I decided, early on, I want no part of it. It's like when you see a crowded restaurant, what you do, you turn around and go away and go find somewhere else to eat. I hate being in crowds. But anyhow, that's just me, so never mind that. There's this idea that they want to ban TikTok because, okay, help me through this. The Chinese ostensibly own it, and therefore, wait, I'm working. Someone is afraid that the Chinese are spying on us through TikTok accounts or something. And it's about that clear. I mean, honestly, it's just like, what in Hades is this about? So basically, I see it's got to be some kind of power grab. It's got to be a money grab. It's got to be a control grab. But the real target, I think you know who I'm talking about, Mr. Musk over here at X. Now, he's their actual target, and if they can take out a monster like TikTok, it's like those, Godzilla versus King Kong movies, Sometimes Godzilla got to whip up on a couple of monsters in the same movie, Well, that's rare, but, Godzilla movies are kind of fun to watch, but I've been watching them all my life. But it still makes me kind of laugh and chuckle, because the idea of the Godzilla thing is it's like professional wrestling. The Hulk Hogan used to do this all the time when he was in the ring back in the 80s and 90s. And Hulk he'd get whooped once, oh, he'd get whooped twice, oh, he's about ready to go, man. He's on his last legs. He can barely walk, and then all of a sudden he develops this real attitude, comes after him and slam bam. Yeah, well, that's professional wrestling. But it's kind of like King Kong. And so the idea is that if you can take out a monster, a King Kong, like TikTok, well, then you could easily take down Twitter. And I think that's the actual target. And who knows, perhaps even in ScrewTube here. I don't know. I'm sure Rumble's got to be on the short list of somebody. If it's about power of speech. It's about censorship. It's about what you're allowed to say, what you're allowed to hear, what you're allowed to think. Not only are they going to tell you how to think, they're going to tell you what to think and when to think it. And if you doubt them, or if you raise your hand, like in France, that crazy bill, again, JP Sears was doing a vid, and I caught it again. Now, I did mention this the other day. In France, I guess this is a proposed bill. I don't know that it's actual yet, but at any rate, it's on the books, or to be about on the books, I guess. Possibly, maybe it has to pass a vote somewhere in the French government. I hope that it gets stopped dead in its tracks, but it's crazy. You want to talk bad about genetic therapies? You want to talk bad about a product that has mRNA stuff in it? Hey, 3-year ban. I mean, to jail. And plus the 45,000 euro, and I don't really know the value of the euro, but I think that'd be about 60 grand in US dollars. Correct me where I'm wrong. But anyway, it's a big fine. And so this is and things like this are happening in Canada too. So as the world turns over again, as the world continues to fall off the wagon, we mere plebes and workers down here. I mean, I don't think the UN's going to come knocking on my door and go, "Hey, Mike, we'd like your opinion on what to do about this crisis over here in Africa." I don't await any phone calls in the middle of the night. You and I aren't going to make big changes like that. You and I make real changes to real people. See, so Buddy Brown has a good vid out today. If you like Buddy, it's only 4.5 minutes. Go watch it, and he's just talking honest about how how come all the creeps and all the liars and all the psychopaths and perverts, why are they the ones with all the power and the fame and the money, and the people who are working hard and doing their job and they're on time and they're honest, among other things? They're down here at the bottom of the food chain. See if I can rub two nickels together enough to get warm enough to start a match, maybe. Things aren't that bad with me. I got a little bit of money, but I sure ain't rich. But I know a lot of folks, as far as they're able to understand. I mean, the grocery bills are just out through the roof. Grocery bills right now. Today I went into a Dunkin' Donuts and I went, what? I think I bought 6 donuts. 6 donuts and a coffee, a large coffee. It was like almost $13. And I said, what? For donuts and coffee? And I looked at the bill, and I think the donut came out to $1.25 each or something like that. Maybe it's $1.50. Yeah, because I think it came up to $8 for 6. That's right. So it's $1.50 a piece. But the coffee, it wasn't a great big drink. It might have been 20 ounces, probably 18 or something. They're maybe getting 16. I don't know. $3.50 or something like that. I went, what? For a cup of coffee? Gosh, how much do those grounds cost you guys anyhow? That must be some really expensive water you guys are using right out of the city tap. I don't know, but the prices are going gonzo. And thanks, Joe Biden. Yeah, we know who to thank for that, don't we? And so the Americans who are actually paying bills because they work for a living, because that's what they have done all their lives, and it's the right thing to do to be a responsible member of society, to start there, those folks are the ones who are getting screwed. Those are the ones who are going to be, and guess what? Guess again, we've been talking about this, haven't we, you and I? You know what's going to come down is that the same hardworking folks, especially if they are confessing Christ Jesus as Lord. Oh, that's the ball buster right there. Pow, gotcha. And so, in other words, the world as it turns, as it rotates itself down into a small narrow space called a crevasse, they're falling downward and they don't even know. As the world kind of spins out of control, well, you know what? There was a lot of control that was put into this. I mean, this didn't happen overnight. This is the process of over 50 years of conditioning, but at least the last 30 for certain. Essentially psychological warfare carried out against generations. So now that we have 2 and 3 generations of people who are cut off from the earth, cut off from farms, cut off from even really being able to recognize that, oh yeah, lemons come from trees, real trees that grow in the ground. The modern, shall we say, education levels are, shall we say, astonishing, and not in a good way. But the situation is that we've got folks that have lived their entire lives essentially linked to a screen. Now this new and upcoming generation, the one who's on screen right now somewhere, tick-tocking away, that group right there, their sense of reality is entirely different than yours or mine. If you're over 45 years old, if you're over 45, maybe 50 years old, you partake of an older world now that is passing away very rapidly. And these young people know nothing of that world. It's as if, very much like in those dystopian novels of totalitarianism, where essentially you end up with a revisionist history, a redrawing of the lines of history. Who were the good guys? And some people didn't actually even exist now, did they? And they just, in the old Soviet Union, they used to just brush them out, airbrush them out. You know, they have these horrible photos, black and white. It's like 65 men standing shoulder to shoulder in 3 rows on steps, and maybe a row at the bottom kneeling. I don't know. A group photo, a large group photo. And, you know, famous scientists that went afoul of Stalin in the 30s or 40s. Guess what? This photo was published. This is the commemoration of the something something event in 1938, and all these faces are in there. Okay, this guy crosses up. They used to just airbrush him out, and then throw away all the old photos. So the new photo has these holes in it, kind of like tooth decay, you know. Hey, look, another missing tooth. Hey, look, another missing tooth. That should, clue you in a little bit. So anyway, we're looking at times like that where the main thing to control is your mind and your attitude. And they're trying to control it. And what I'm saying to you, and I think what a lot of good folks next to you are saying to you as well, is that no, you control your mind, and then actually what you do is you surrender your mind, you surrender your heart, you surrender your thinking patterns, you surrender your schedule, you surrender whatever is holding you back to the king. And you say, sir, I've been trying to do this as best I can, and apparently it ain't working out too well. In fact, it keeps blowing up in my face a lot. Speaking of blowing up in my face, I'm going back to that stupid cheese factory again tomorrow. That thing keeps blowing fittings apart. I've never heard of this before. I have no idea. Oh, by the way, today's non-paying sponsor who refuses to send me a check. I don't know why. Yeah, I keep trying to work these big endorsement deals like, Michael, what was his name? Michael Jordan. He had these huge endorsement deals. And when he was playing ball, I think Jordan had, I'm just making this up, but it was, let's say at the time, it was a big paycheck, like $30 or $40 million per year contract or something. Well, that's what he was being paid to play basketball. But he had like 100 million or 120 million in endorsements, like selling t-shirts or tennis shoes or, I don't know, lollipops, whatever the heck the guy was selling. Probably not lollipops. Unless they had a lot of spring to them. Orange. This guy used to catch air. Never mind that. The point is that I just wanted to say, as the world upchucks its way into nausea, the bad guy is actually the good guy. The good guy is actually the bad guy. So when you have good being swapped for evil, evil swapped for good, now that falls under God's judgment. He takes a personal interest in that. When you go to screwing with that one, you crossed a line. And so this land is under judgment in that it has exchanged good for evil and evil for good. And it curses and hates the sons of God. Why? You tell me. But I think the story will be told by them better. And it's going to have to do with how hateful and mean and backwards you are. How you just are the raciest of racists and whatnot. And however bad things can get, you're worse than that. Because why? Because you're a traitor to the human race. And this is really where all this is swirling here. In this transhumanist insanity, which is driving this world madness, this transhumanist ambition to build the next evolutionary step. If from ape to man, remember the dumb drawings, the series of drawings they brainwashed you with in school? So there's an ape, and then a kind of a somewhat ape, and then a pretty much stand-up ape, and then a sort of a proto-human, then a human, or whatever, get out of here with that stuff. But the thing is that you have, if from ape to man, then from man to what? And it is the what that matters. The what is what they're trying to build. It's going to be AI contacted. It's going to be driven in quantum computing, at least. It'll have, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And the thing is that what we're looking at is that's just one part of their evil triangle. They have to have, in order for this thing to fully fuse into an anti-Christ, anti-Christian system, you need, yes, the AI data processing power, definitely, to monitor all the buying and selling and to keep tabs on everyone, spy on everyone all the time. So you need the AI link. It has to be there. But there has to be another link. And it's called, essentially, it doesn't matter how well they program an AI, it's never truly sentient until it has a spirit. Now, our ancestors knew that spirits could be bound down to physical objects. Usually it was a rock or an altar of some kind. But they knew that spirits could be bound to objects. Why don't we know that? In order for it to become a cogent entity, a person, it must have spirit, mind, and both of them are alien to each other. Oh, this is going to be a mess. But the third link, here comes one from the bottom. So you got three angles coming in, and this antichrist worldling system that they're building is that you need a human being. In other words, you have to have a medium, a spiritual medium. Now this is going to be an evil spirit or spirits, probably Satan himself in the case of the Antichrist. A spirit entity enters into the man. The man is connected through circuitry in his cerebral cortex to a machine. The machine can do astonishing projections and amount of, shall we say, agitated integration. This thing can run like crazy. When the three fuse, then that proposed monstrosity will need to be rehoused ultimately in something beyond a human body, or a human body 2.0. And it may have to do with nano machines in the body, constantly maintaining it. It may have to do with organs being grown and cloned and replaced on demand. I don't know. The basic premise is an unending human life. You will live forever in this horrible estate, by the way, in this estate of being chained to this machine from hell. And in the spirit that drives all of that, the father of lies, all linked in to you. And then you become a sort of a dark spot in the world instead of a light. You become a dark. And the world, the darkness surrounds you. It begins to collect. This guy will be the center of the world. He'll be the greatest guy ever. Girls will be like falling in love with this guy big time. Much more than they ever did with Michael Jackson or Donny Osmond when they were 14. But the point is that what's going to happen is that with this fusion between these three, the spirit, the AI, and then the human person, who there's a locus there. And in that locus is a disaster brewing. That's what they're building. Well, guess what? As a Christian, then, definitely, you are a traitor to the human race. Why? Why are you a traitor to the human race? Because you've refused the only hope of mankind, this new and coming thing they're even now very busy building or trying to. Huh? Yeah? You're against that. What do you mean you're against it? Well, yeah, I hate it. I think it needs to go. It's a bad idea. It should go away, definitely. It should never be built, actually. It was a terrible idea when it was first formed. And it's only getting worse. Well, what are you going to do? You're a traitor to the human race. How do you know you're a traitor? Because you say, guess what, Bubba? You're talking about the next step up. You're talking about humanity 2.0. You're talking about the revised version, the glorified version. Well, guess what? That's history, baby. Happened way back when at an empty tomb. And there was witnesses too, to the disappearance of the body. Yep. Humanity 2.0, the true man, the new man, the real man. He lives, and guess what? He's coming back, and he's pissed off. The idea is that you as a Christian must, by definition, fundamentally become a traitor to this new way of thinking and therefore be hated, just like every traitor is. Even though it's all wrong to blame you for their errors, but and I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I just want to say, when you look at it this way and you think about what you're observing, what you're watching, and why it's there, why are they building that anyway? That's insane. I mean, can't they see that the end result of that would be a disaster of unthinkable? Yeah, they can see it, and that's why they're doing it. They actually want to rub out humanity 1.0. And precisely because you want to hang on to your natural born immunity and don't go in for mRNA injections that, say, for instance, are still considered experimental. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence that any of that stuff helps anybody? Well, they say they've got it. We just don't know about it, that's all. But the thing is that when you look at it, that you have an unadulterated humanity, a humanity whose genome has not been mutated, morphed, or disastered. They're the enemy now. And that means folks like you and me, Christians, people who simply refuse their nonsense. And if you're not a Christian, well, God bless you anyhow. If you're refusing and refusing to back and refusing to be a part of this current madness where you've got pornography presented to little children in the public schools, they call that an education now. Now, I'll educate you all right. Educate you real good. Yeah, so the situation is we win, not because we're strong, not because we're smart, not because we're rich. God knows that one. We win because Christ, who has conquered all of these powers, already he has the victory. He dwells in our hearts. He lives in our minds. He comes through into this world and shares our experience. He doesn't leave you alone. You never were alone. You're not alone now. You never will be. You might want to learn how to say that to yourself, because things are going to get awful dark and awful lonely. The people you thought were your friends and your closest buddies, you'll find out one day. But don't you be afraid to go and become the one who's arrested, the one who's sent away as a criminal, if need be, in order to remain true to the name of the Savior. Remember his name. I am who is saving you. And he's saving today. Yes, sir, he is. He's using his word. He's using his power. He's using his spirit. And he's changing human lives today. He just don't know when to quit. Well, actually, he did know when to quit. He laid down it all at the end and he said, it's finished. It's done. And then he died. He died once for you. He died once for me. He didn't need to die himself because he wasn't a sinner. And as a matter of fact, that was why he was raised from the dead. The law of sin and death was against those who sinned. Well, he never sinned. But as our federal head, as our representative, as our new father, the new Adam, he took in his body the representative role to say, if you've got something against my people, that means you've got something against me. Let's rock and roll right now. He steps out in front of us, in between God and us. He becomes the mediator, the midpoint man. And from there, in him, he absorbs that blow, that disaster that's coming. When Jesus Christ comes, it's not going to be a happy day. A day of darkness, a day of shadow, a day of terror, a day of rumbling deep in the earth. Who knows? Everything's going to be going a little weird. But he's the one who keeps you ticking. And he keeps your center looking at him through the word. So hear the word today as it's spoken to you, as you read it yourself, as it comes to your mind, as it comes to your memory. If you're going down the road and something jogs your memory and you remember a part of the word, well, jot it down. Think about that thing. Why were you thinking about that? This is how we're going to make it through this thing. Not by being, hiding out in our, 43-story underground bunker, living on rations underground for 3 years or whatever. No, it's nothing like that. We're going to be hanging on because we depend on him day by day, and we say so, and we ask for his provision. We pray the way he told us to pray. Please feed us today, great God. Not tomorrow. We're not asking for lunch next Tuesday. Just today. And we thank you for your provision. And it's all in and through Jesus Christ, ain't it? Yeah. He wins, and he wins our hearts. So you go sit down today and glow a little bit. I'm out here in the sun just glowing. Can you see it? Oh, look at that. It ain't glorious. And I sure like the big brightness of it, but actually it's kind of strong on my eyeballs. Getting old. So I guess I'll tune out and wave bye-bye. But I just wanted to visit with you guys, and I do thank you for dropping in and spending some time. Your time's important, and I mean, let's face it, everybody's lonely, everybody wants to communicate, and well, that's about the last thing that people do anymore. I mean, in terms of families or anything, everyone's cut off, everybody feels all alone, so they turn to social media, right? Well, at least they can contact something like a human. And if you could be something like a human yourself, wouldn't that be just great? That'd be several of us by now. Have a good day. Bye-bye.